my world. Today, another recent video games pickups video. Yeah! So, we shall start off first with a Game Boy game. Well, technically it's a Game Boy game and also a Game Boy Color game. It is Super Mario Land in colour. If you remember from a few videos back, I got a custom cartridge for Super Mario Land 2 DX, or Deluxe, which is basically Super Mario Land 2, but made colour. And they also added in Luigi as a second playable character. Fantastic. And then I saw this one about a week ago, decided to order it. It's the first obviously Super Mario Land game, but they've made it into colour. No playable Luigi or anything like that, it's just still the same game, just in colour. Doesn't seem to be as well made, in my opinion. There's lots of sort of like graphical glitches here and there, especially when you like jump. Sometimes it'll like flash, you can really see that it flashes black and white for a split second and then goes back to colour, or a couple of blocks here and there will change to black and white again. So it's not the best, but it was fairly cheap on cartridge, so you know, it's a nice one to add to my collection. I prefer the sequel anyway, but I just thought this would be a nice addition to the old gamey collection. Next is a Switch game. I would have never bought this otherwise, put it this way. Somebody bought it because it was on sale for about £6.90 or something. Might still be at that price, I don't know. They played it once, decided it was utterly terrible and just wanted to get rid of it, and they offered it to me for free. All I had to do was pay postage, which cost like £1.20. So I got it. And then I read the front of the cover. To use this software, a minimum of 24GB free space is required. Now the Nintendo Switch only has 32GB built in. That's all I have currently, and I have a couple of games installed there, so I only have about 8GB of space left. So I've had to buy an SD card before I can even play this game. The SD card has not arrived yet. If it arrives tomorrow, I'll record some footage of this and put it in and upload it. If not, this video will go online tomorrow anyway without the footage. And the game is WWE 2K18. The 2K series has been pretty terrible in my opinion. I haven't really enjoyed the games too much. The last one I personally bought was 2K14. I bought the special edition because it was an Undertaker edition. So I couldn't help myself, and I did have some fun with that game. I remember doing a video based on beating the Undertaker streak. That was fun, but it just doesn't have the same gameplay as it used to, basically, with the SmackDown vs Raw games. So I've just not been bothered with the newest wrestling games. I do want to pick them all up eventually for my wrestling game collection, which now stands at over 100. But yeah, I have no intentions of buying these games new and at full price or anything. So £1.20, I was fine to add that to my collection. I just didn't realise that in order to even attempt to play, I would have to spend more money to buy a fucking SD card. So I went for a 128GB SD card, so I'll be able to, you know, have more space on the Switch. You know, future-proof it essentially. So yeah, but the 2K18 Switch port is apparently supposed to be really terrible, and even with the massive patch that you have to download in order to really play it, it's still not very good, so we'll see. But yeah, it's added to my wrestling game collection. So far it's the only wrestling game available on the system, so yay. Well, that and I think 3 Count Bout, which is like an arcade game ported over or something, which I also have. Yeah. Right, let's move on to some Super Nintendo! And we have, firstly, not a particularly great game, I will admit, but it's one from my childhood, and that is Cool Spot. Yeah, the mascot for 7-Up. There we go, I couldn't remember if it was 7-Up or Sprite. Yeah, Cool Spot is basically a red dot with hands and feet, and you just run about levels collecting things. It's a very typical platformer from the 16-bit era. It's not the best one, fortunately. But yeah, like I said, I had it as a kid growing up, so it has that nostalgia factor for me, so I was happy to pick it up. And I got that game in a bundle with an NTSC game, and that is The Simpsons Bart's Nightmare. This was much cheaper than the PAL version, and like I said, I got it bundled with Cool Spot, so yeah, I got it for a good price. And it also adds to my Simpsons game collection, which I want to sort of do at some point, try and collect all the Simpsons games, because I'm a huge fan of the show. It's not particularly great. Honestly, most of the Simpsons games are kind of crappy, but again, want them for my collection, so we have that. Moving on to another Super Nintendo game, and we have one that uses the whole sort of Modi 7 3D aspect, and that is Street Racer, and it is sort of a knockoff of Super Mario Kart, only absolutely nowhere near as good or as fun or anything. It is not that great, to be honest. Looks impressive for the Super Nintendo. That's about it. The tracks are kind of boring. The cool characters that you choose between are stupid, and the weapons are confusing as all hell. I don't really understand it. There's like bits on the track on the floor, kind of like in Super Mario Kart, where you've got the blocks that are just sort of like painted on the floor, and you run over them and you pick up the power-ups. There's those in this sort of thing, but you don't get the power-ups from them, so I don't really know what they are, and I'm kind of confused as to how you get the power-ups half the time, and when you collect one you have no idea what the fuck you've got. You just sort of press the fire button and hope for the best. It's not particularly great. But we also have the Mega Drive version of the game, which is pretty different actually. I thought it was just going to be pretty much the same, but no, it does actually look different and play slightly different, but still not particularly very good at all. The Super Nintendo version is definitely superior to it. Yeah. But then we also have the PS1 version of Street Racer. Yes, they ported it to the PS1, I think as well to the Sega Saturn and possibly to PC at the time. Obviously it looks much better. I think there are more tracks in this one or something. But unfortunately it really is still the same game. Plays better on the PS1, looks better, has more stuff in it I believe. Or did they actually cut things out of this? I can't remember. I think there's more stuff in the PS1 version. Yeah, but slightly better, but still not great. I just kind of got them all of the three versions to compare them, see what they were like, and hope that maybe there was a good Super Mario Kart clone in there. There wasn't, unfortunately. Okay, let's go with something a little bit more recent, as in actually released last year on the PlayStation 4. That is the Spyro trilogy, the Reignited trilogy, as they've called it, and it of course has Spyro 1, 2 and 3 from the old PS1 days. Now, with Crash Bandicoot, I grew up on those games, loved them. The remaster came out, I got it. I hate the remaster. It looks and sounds fantastic but plays shit because they changed it. They changed the jumping, but they didn't change any of the levels to compensate for the changed jumping controls, so it kind of screwed up, and I just wasn't happy with it at all. Other people are fine with it, that's great, good for you. I will stick to the originals. When it comes to Spyro, I didn't care for the originals back in the day. I remember renting games was not something that our family did particularly often. But one game I did rent was the original Spyro, and I didn't like it. I played it for a bit and I thought it was boring. You had these big open spaces, levels, but they were just bland and empty and boring, and I never cared for it, so I didn't bother with the sequels. A few years ago, I did buy the PS1 trilogy on the PS3. There was a deal, it cost me like £5 for all three in a bundle. I played through a bit of the second and third, and I really enjoyed them. They made tons of improvements for the first one. They played like the original game to me always felt like a tech demo, but then the second and third games, you know, were fleshed out and much better. So, you know, I didn't really have the nostalgia for the Spyro trilogy, but they looked fantastic. I thought, well, I did enjoy the second and third for the bits that I played. Maybe I'll play them more remastered. So, picked this up. It was nice and cheap. Got it for 20 quid. I think you can still get it for that price in a lot of places at the moment on sale. And yeah, aside from having to download the second and third game, because only one game is on disc, one PS1 remaster is on the disc. One. On a Blu-ray disc. Yeah, so not fantastically happy about that, but once you get playing the games you forget about any of that crap, because it is a fantastic package. I've played through and finished all 3 games. It took me about a week and a half to do. I didn't complete them 100% because I could not be asked with that, but I had a fantastic time with these. The first game is so much better in the remaster than the original. It looks nicer obviously, so these bigger empty spaces that are still sort of there, just because the graphics are better, it looks nicer and you have more fun roaming around even if they are empty spaces. And you know, it does look like they've tried to fill them in a bit more with stuff. Yeah, so that's fantastic. Sounds tremendous, the soundtrack is great. Everything else is still sort of there from the original Spyro trilogies as far as I can tell. They improved on the little flutter jump that you do, where you sort of glide and then you press the triangle button and jump up a little bit to get some extra height. I remember there was one particular level in the second game that took me so long because you had to climb up like an area and then jump off and try and land on something. Every time you fail, you had to like go through half the level again to climb back up to this particular part, and I did it so many times just trying to land this little flutter jump. Here, did it first time. Very, very rarely had any kind of problems with the little flutter jump at the end. It was fantastic. So, high praises to this. It made me a Spyro the Dragon fan, for at least for the original trilogy. This is an excellent collection, and for 20 quid you cannot go wrong with it. Highly recommend this game. It is tremendous. Next, these are only part of it, but yeah, you'll see why. That is Wii Fit and Wii Fit Plus. And yes, of course, I do have the Wii Fit board, but it is currently downstairs where the Wii U is set up in order to properly play these. I wanted to get hold of these for a while now because I kind of want the collection of the Wii titled games. You know, you got Wii Sports, Wii Sports Resorts, Wii Fit, etc, etc. I only need Wii Music now, and I do plan on doing a video on the Wii games at some point. But I also wanted these just to try out the Wii Fit and see what the Wii Fit board's like, and try and, you know, do a bit of exercise as well. So yeah, you know, basically I will give this advice to anyone who just wants sort of the game and the board and isn't looking to collect everything. Just get Wii Fit Plus, because this has everything that this has plus more, and it's all unlocked at the start. You don't have to mess around with anything, so you can just jump right in. It also claims that it works with your dogs as well, but yeah, pet and baby weight, so you can register to take the measurements and join in on the fun. Haven't got round to trying that part yet, but it is something I would like to try and do, try and get one of my dogs to stand on the bleeding Wii Fit board. But yeah, so what is the Wii Fit games like? Let's take a look at some footage of me making a complete arse out of myself wiggling about on the Wii Fit board. so there you have it, Wii Fit Plus. It is actually fun, it is, and it works surprisingly well too for the original Wii. I'm very impressed with it. I really like the sort of platforming game where you do running on the spot and then you pretend to jump and you actually jump on it, and yeah, that was really quite fun. I enjoyed that. Hula hooping's stupid and crazy, but again fun, and you look stupid, especially for the people who are doing it. You've got jogging where you have to actually stand off the Wii Fit board. I don't know if I showed it in the footage or not, I can't remember what I recorded, but you have to stand off the board but have the control in your pocket so it measures how you're running, and yeah, that's really cool as well. But it does distract my dogs quite a lot. Yeah, so Wii Fit Plus, and of course the Wii Fit board added to my collection now. Next is a game that I already own on the PS2, but the disc is pretty scratched and doesn't play too well, so I wanted a different version, and I got it on the Xbox, and that is Mafia. The original Mafia game. I'm a huge fan of Mafia 2, love it. I do own Mafia 3, but I haven't really got into it yet. I played it originally when it first came out on my old graphics card, and it would not run decently at all. Since I got my new graphics card, I haven't tried out the game yet, but I will do at some point. But I kind of want to go through the first Mafia game. If you don't know what it is, it's essentially kind of like a Grand Theft Auto style game, but you're really entrenched in the Mafia storyline. Much more than Grand Theft Auto 3 and Vice City ever were. And usually the story is sort of really the better parts of the game, especially for the sequel. Tremendous story, really enjoyed it, and I'm definitely in a sort of Mafia mood these days because I just finished reading a 700 plus page book on the New York Mafia, so yeah, very excited to really go through this at some point. And lastly, we have some GameCube games. Since the announcement of Pokemon Sword and Shield, I pre-ordered Pokemon Sword. And it's like, I kind of want to play through some of the other Pokemon console games. I own XD Gale of Darkness on the GameCube already, and that one is very expensive these days, can go upwards of like 70 quid depending on the condition, so I'm happy I got it brand new and sealed when the Wii first came out for £30. Yay! So I thought I need the first GameCube one, Pokemon Colosseum. I decided to pick this up now before this one jumps up in price. I got this for £17.50 I believe. Doesn't come with the memory card unfortunately, but is complete with the manual and everything, and it's in fantastic condition as well. I was very happy with it, the condition, considering I got it from a second-hand place and bought it online, so I didn't really see the condition first. I know it wasn't from Sex, but yeah. So Pokemon Colosseum, it's kind of, an RPG style Pokemon game on the console, but not quite. It's not quite a proper Pokemon adventure game on the console, but it's much more than the stadium games on the N64, which were just about battling as far as I'm aware. So there is a story mode here and moving about from town to town and things like that. So I do want to play more of that at some point. And lastly, the last two GameCube games are Super Monkey Ball 1 and 2. I've been wanting to try these games out for such a long time, and I finally got round to buying them. These were in a bundle for £20 on eBay. They usually go for about £15 each, I've noticed, especially in the condition that these are in. So for both for 20 quid, free delivery was great, plus I had a £5 eBay voucher. They sent eBay every now and then send me a random code, £5 off orders at £20 or more. Got these for 15 quid. Bargain, and they are complete in box and in great condition, and they are very fun games. I'm very happy that they are as fun as I thought they were going to be. For those of you who don't know what they are, you're a monkey inside a little ball, almost kind of like a Pokeball, but it's see-through, and you have to navigate levels kind of like Marble Madness style, and collect bananas and get to the goal in the specific time, but you don't control the monkey, you control the stage, so you have to move the stage about. One of the things that people always love about these particular two is the analog stick on the GameCube controller being incredible, which is true, when it makes handling the levels and the monkey ball so easy. Handling the monkey ball easy. Yeah, didn't mean to say that, I don't think, but yeah, they play fantastically on the GameCube. These are considered to be the best versions because of the GameCube controller, as opposed to the one on the Wii, or the multiple ones that came out on the Wii that use the motion controls, which isn't quite the same. So very happy I picked those up, especially for the price, and they're incredibly fun. So those are all my recent gaming pickups. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know down below what games you got lately, if you think any of these games are great or terrible, and if you have any recommendations for me. So I'm Big Cal, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.